So here we are at our first week of backyard biology. I'm very excited. I did look at the orientation assignment that some of you completed. Actually, most of you completed. There were only a few of you whose I was still missing. So if you did not finish the orientation assignment, please go into Moodle and go ahead and take a look at that assignment. Complete it. It's so I can make this class more interesting for each and every one of you. Before we get started, does anyone have any questions about us in general? Not necessarily about a specific topic we're going to talk about, but just something you weren't sure of, you thought of after the orientation. Go ahead, Bay.
Can you tell me, in the 4th week, what kind of bean seeds we need?
Great question. The question was, in the 4th week, what kind of bean seeds do we need? And basically, any type of bean seed or any type of seed will work. Beans, like green beans, just tend to grow rather quickly, so we will get better results if you have some sort of green bean, string bean. But if you can't find that at your local store, any type of seed will work, and you really only need a couple of them. Great question. That kind of leads me to something else I wanted to touch on before we get started. In the syllabus that I sent out, it had a list of materials for every class. Those materials are so you can do the assignments and the activities along with me. If for some reason you have a hard time finding one of the materials, do not worry about it. I will be doing every single assignment live in class, so you will get to see the results. That material, or those materials, will just allow you to follow along with me and complete the assignment on your own. It also makes the class, in my opinion, a lot more interesting if you can do things along with me. One of my favorite assignments that we do during this class is, we'll start it next week, and that is to build a terrarium using a soda bottle. That is something that we will kind of follow for all 9 weeks of class and see what happens to the plants and animals, if you put a worm in, that we put into our terrariums. So if you were only going to pick one assignment to do along with me, that is the one that I would choose. But they are completely optional. Anyone else have any questions? Sarah, go ahead.
What's a terrarium or whatever thing that we're doing with the bottle?
A terrarium is basically sort of like a fish tank, but instead of having fish in it, you grow plants in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to observe the plant that we put in it, and you can put whatever plant you want, over the course of 9 weeks and see what happens. Does it grow? Does it die? I'm going to put a live worm in mine. That's optional. If you do put a worm in it, you'll be able to see the worm move into different spots if you water the terrarium or if you let it get really dry. So basically, it's like a fish tank for plants. Any other questions? Bay, go ahead.
Sorry, Bay's a little shy, so I'm asking the question. Can we put other insects in it also?
Sorry, could you repeat that one? You got kind of muffled. I heard you say something about insects, but I didn't quite get it.
Can we put other insects in the bottle also? Or only one?
Yes, you can put whatever you want in it. It is your terrarium. I would obviously recommend that you don't put things that are harmful, like I wouldn't put a wasp in it, but you certainly, it's going to be your project. You can put whatever you would like to in the terrarium. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Each class we are going to start off with some sort of activity, whether it be a picture on the whiteboard that I ask you to look at, or maybe a riddle. Today I didn't put one up there because I wanted to talk to you guys before we got started. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put a picture up on your whiteboard. The best thing for you to do right now is going to be to make your whiteboard larger. To make your whiteboard larger, the whiteboard is the bottom right screen. I'm going to put an image in there right now. The image is of a snowy scene. I don't want to give too much away because that's what I want you guys to do. What I would like you to do is go ahead and write down some observations that you can make about this picture. So I have gone ahead and unlocked your whiteboard, and I'm going to write observations, and I want you each to write on the whiteboard for me some observations that you can make about this picture. Quick reminder about how to write. I'm going to draw an arrow to the pencil. A pretty bad arrow at that. An arrow to the pencil. You can use the pencil to write freehand on the whiteboard. Or you could use the black letter A to type on the whiteboard. We're not going to worry about spelling. We're not going to worry about correct grammar. Just list some observations about this picture. I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to go ahead and do that.
I cannot see the picture on the whiteboard.
Is your whiteboard large, Xana? It may be off of your screen.
Yeah, it's wide. It's wide.
Okay, why don't you click the refresh on your browser and see if that works, the little arrows, or maybe log in and log back out. I'm not sure. Everyone else seems to be able to see it. Okay, there are some fantastic observations up here. We're just going to go through them real quick. An observation is something that you saw from this picture. We have 2 penguins, water, ice, sky. They look happy. One is jumping. All right, I will give those all a check mark. I'll agree with those. We have mountains and splash. The only one up here that I'm not so sure on is happy. You can't really tell if these penguins, per se, are happy. The picture may make you feel happy. Sarah, do you have a question?
It wouldn't let me type in mine for some reason. It just put a big circle over it.
Okay, Sarah, go ahead and try this for me real quick. Go ahead and type that, or touch that black letter A with your mouse. Touch somewhere on the screen, and then you should see the word text, and it does have a little circle over it. Try and just type right where it is letting you. See if you can just like type your name or anything. Did that work? I see an S. Is that you? Oh, perfect. It will put the word text there, and you do just have to start typing, and it should let you type over the word text. If you leave the word text in front of all of your writing, not a big deal at all. Okay, problem solved. That was an easy one. So let's keep looking at our observations we have here. We have penguins having fun. Okay, they're definitely doing something, maybe having fun, maybe fishing. We don't really know. Water, penguin, snow, blue sky, mountains. All right, good job. Maybe the penguin is jumping because he is cold and not happy. Well, that certainly can be the case. Now, the penguin being happy or cold is not really an observation. It's something called an inference. Observations and making observations and inferences and making inferences in science are very important. And that is where we are going to start our class. If you could go ahead and make that PowerPoint small for me. I'm going to make it so you cannot write on it anymore. I'm sorry, make your whiteboard small. I'm going to make it so you cannot write on it anymore. And I have opened up a PowerPoint that says Making Observations. It is in your top right screen. I want to make sure that everyone can see this, so click either yes or no. Can you see the PowerPoint words Making Observations on your screen? Now, I'm definitely not going to do this every time we change between the whiteboard and the PowerPoint, but until we get used to it, I want to make sure everyone knows where we are. So I'm just waiting for 2 more responses. Can you see the words Making Observations on the PowerPoint? Your PowerPoint is the top right-hand screen, the one right next to my video that hopefully you can all see. So I'm just waiting for 1 more response. All right. Okay, so I'm going to make my PowerPoint screen large just so it's easier to read. If you want to, that's fine. I'm also going to turn my video off. So here we have Making Observations. You all just made some really good observations. But let's see what really observation is. We observe things using our 5 senses. When we are observing a picture, it is hard to use any sense except for our sense of sight. For example, in this picture I can say the trees are green. But I can't tell you that the trees smell like something, or feel like something, or that the water is hot or cold. It's not something that I can observe from this picture. All I can observe is what I'm actually seeing. And that is the sense of sight. Using our eyes to determine something like color, size, or shape uses our sense of sight. Can somebody make an observation about something in the room they are sitting in that is using their sense of sight? Go ahead and raise your hand so that you can share it with us. Xana, go ahead. An observation about something you can see in your room.
I can see trees from my window. I can see some of my books and stuff.
Okay, fantastic. She can see trees. She can see books. Sarah, an observation that you can make using your sense of sight about the room you are sitting in.
The paper is white, and my computer is white.
Awesome, great job. She has white paper and white computer in her room. So she just described something with color. Now, I had asked you guys to bring a ruler with you to class today. Let's try to make a very concrete size observation. So for example, sitting next to me, I have a mouse pad. My mouse pad is 9 inches wide. That is a very concrete observation. It can give you a good idea of the size of my mouse pad. Would someone else like to make a concrete observation about the size of something in the room they are sitting in? Sarah, go ahead.
My water bottle is 8 inches tall.
Awesome. Sarah's water bottle is 8 inches tall. That gives me a really good idea of the water bottle sitting next to her. A lot better idea than her just saying, I have a water bottle next to me. Jackson, how about an observation from you? I'm not hearing you through your microphone, Jackson. So let's check your microphone out. If you go to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there should be an orange wrench. Go ahead and click that wrench. A menu that says Microphone Settings. Go ahead and click Microphone Settings for me, please. Make sure the correct microphone is chosen. For example, mine says Logitech USB headset. Then click Apply. Okay, I see all these other hands up, but we are going to let Jackson give his microphone one more shot, and then Sophie and Arsad, we will try you. So go ahead, Jackson.
What was
it? Centimeter.
All right, thank you very much, Bay. And Jackson went ahead and typed his observation instead. That's fine. We can work on your microphone at the end of class if you want, Jackson, so we can get it squared away for next week. Sophie, I believe you had your hand up as well. So Sophie, go ahead and give me an observation using your ruler.
My keyboard is 11 inches.
Awesome. Your keyboard is 11 inches. And Arsad, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, please correct me. But go ahead and give me your observation.
Didilik it. My computer. My notebook is. My notebook is 25 centimeter wide.
All right. Great job. The notebook is 25 centimeters wide. Fantastic. So that gives us all a great idea of some things that are around everyone else. And when we can add a measurement in there, it just makes us get an even better picture than just saying, I have a notebook here. So let's go ahead and move on to our next sense, and that is our sense of hearing. Hearing uses our ears to determine something. An example could be loud, high-pitched. For example, if I was describing music my son is playing, I could say, the radio is so loud. And that's using my sense of hearing. If I was observing something out in nature, I might observe a stream, and I might say that the stream is running very quietly. Our sense of smell uses our nose. Something could be stinky, something could be sweet smelling. In science, using our nose is important, but it is very important to know that you never, ever, ever smell chemicals directly. It can make you really sick, and it can be very dangerous. An example of an observation where we're using our sense of smell, maybe if I'm sitting at my desk and my daughter decides to bake some brownies, I may not know what she's doing in the kitchen, but I will start to smell those brownies, and I could say, something smells good, and an inference that I could make would be, Andrea is making brownies. Taste is another sense. Taste is a sense that we never use in science because tasting chemicals is very dangerous. Taste is something we certainly use when we're eating. We can taste something sweet, something sour, something good, something bad. Touch. Touch is an observation that we use a lot. Something could be sticky, something could be hard. My desk that I am sitting at is very hard. That is an observation. However, the chair I am sitting at is soft. Let's take a look at this picture. Now, we're only going to be able to use our sense of sight, but go ahead and make an observation about this picture. Who would like to share their observation with the class? I will get to everyone, I promise. Okay, Sarah, you were first. Go ahead.
And
You got cut off, Sarah. Can you go ahead and try again? Not able to hear you anymore, Sarah. So let's go to Xana, and then we can come back to Sarah. So Xana, go ahead.
I see blue water. I see trees that are green. I see people. I see sand. I see the clouds. I see a lot of stuff.
All right, fantastic. Those are all very good observations using your sense of sight. Sophie, I believe you had your hand up. Your turn.
I see different colors of water, and I see there's clouds too. It looks very pretty.
All right, very good. Very good observations. Arsad, go ahead. Okay, Arsad, do you have an observation that you can make?
Okay. You have to load us. Play.
Plants.
All right, very good. Plants. Okay, Bay, your turn.
Yeah. I see people.
All right, fantastic. Great job making those observations. Observations, as I said in the beginning, are a super important part of biology. Now here's another image up on the screen. It's an image of an oceanic setting. What is an observation you can make from here? Bay, go ahead.
Then I see coral. No.
Very good. There is coral. Great job. Sarah, go ahead. Sarah, for some reason your microphone is not working anymore. Sophie, go ahead.
Turtles, seaweed, and the flowers. Well, the turtle has a shell in the back, so he can hide.
Very good. The turtle does have a shell on him. And they're not flowers. They're different types of corals, but that's a great observation. Xana, let's hear your observation.
I see water, I see sand, I see coral, I see turtles, I see some roots, I see some rocks, I see the turtle shell, the turtle's arms.
All right, great job, Xana. And last one, Arsiad, go ahead.
Turtle and stones and shells and some fish.
Awesome, great job. We are going to go ahead and stop right there with observations about that. And we are going to try to classify things or parts of these ecosystems. Using either a smile face or a frown face, tell me if you have ever heard of the terms biotic and abiotic factors. Let me know with a smile face if you've heard of the terms biotic and abiotic factors, and a frown face if you have not. Only one person. 2, perfect. Even if you don't know, respond. There's nothing wrong with getting a wrong answer, with giving me something incorrect. The only way that we truly can learn things is by making mistakes. Yes, Sarah, go ahead and try your mic again while I switch PowerPoints.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Whatever you did worked perfectly. So we're going to go ahead and talk about biotic and abiotic factors. It was about a 50-50 mix in terms of those of you who have heard of these terms before and those of you who have not. So for some of you, this is going to be new. For some of you, this will be review. And we're going to find that a lot in this class, that some things are going to be completely new to you and some things are going to be different. And some things you will already have known. So first, let's look at what an ecosystem is. Now, I'm on a separate PowerPoint here that says ecosystem. An ecosystem includes abiotic and biotic factors in a particular environment. Well, that doesn't tell me what biotic and abiotic means. That only tells me what an ecosystem is. So I guess we still need to do a little defining here. Biotic factors are things that are living in an ecosystem. Okay, for example, you. You, being a person, you are a biotic factor. You are alive. An abiotic factor is something that is non-living, that is not alive, but it's still part of the ecosystem. So an abiotic factor could be the big rock that sits in the middle of my front yard. We are going to take a second and go to our whiteboard. And we are going to do an activity. I am going to make two rectangular shapes. In the first rectangle, you are going to write any biotic factors. Oops. Let me get that going again. Okay. So in the first rectangle, you are going to write any factors either that you can see around you right now, or maybe you just know that your brother's in the room next door. In the second square, you are going to write any abiotic factors. Okay, the biotic factors and abiotic factors that I can see are certainly going to be different than the ones that you can see. Okay, please do your best not to erase. I would rather you just start over than erase, because a lot of times when we erase someone else's work on accident. So, biotic and abiotic factors. You guys have 2 minutes.
I cannot write good. I just accidentally tried to erase mine, and it just turned mine black. Like, I don't know how. So I don't know how to write small and stuff.
Okay, can you type on yours, Xana? Like with a keyboard, or can you not even type? Because it certainly is hard to freehand write, but see if you can go ahead and type, and if you can't, you can just put it on a piece of paper, and then you can share it with me and at the end, and I will put it up here. Okay, so for those of you who just popped into class, we are working on our whiteboard. We are listing biotic factors and abiotic factors. Now remember, biotic factors are things that are living in an ecosystem, and abiotic factors are things that are not living. So my example was a biotic factor is me. An abiotic factor is the big rock sitting in my front yard. Okay, you are listing biotic and abiotic factors. You have about 1 more minute. Biotic and abiotic factors. Okay, and we will share in 1 second. Okay, so let me get Xana, give me two abiotic factors to add up here first.
What? I not hear you.
I said, Xana, go ahead and give me 2 biotic and 2 abiotic factors. Okay, someone is touching at the bottom. It says page 1 of 2. Don't hit those arrows. Stay right on this page. Okay, Xana, let's try this again. Give me 2 biotic and 2 abiotic factors.
One of my biotic ones, the first square, is I see my mom. Sorry, that was my dog, but I see my mom, I see people inside my room, I see my dog, I see...
Okay, now go ahead and give me just 2 abiotic factors.
I see some toys, and I see a cup.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. If you have your information already typed up here, you don't need to raise your hands to give it to me. Xana could not type on the whiteboard. So if your information is already up here, you don't need to raise your hands. If it's not, go ahead and raise your hand and can give it to me as well. Okay, so it looks like everyone else might be up here. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a look. So for biotic factors, we have the people in the library. Very good. Insects, plants, a cat, dad and mom, great job. A dog, mom again, people, a tree, a cat, a fish, a catfish. We have a mesgy rabbit. We have trees again. We have flowers. And then right here we have one that should get moved. A block is not a block is not a biotic feature. It is not alive. So we're going to take and we are going to move block to the abiotic feature. Abiotic factor. Now let's check our abiotic factors. We have a block, which is fantastic. Headphones, headphones, a pencil, paper, book, jar, television, bike, closet, table, toys, planet books, a rock, a chair, a wheelbarrow, a lamp, a wall, a clock, a dog bench, a bicycle, toys, and a cup. Oh, and a DVD. Great job on all of those biotic and abiotic factors. They are all in the exact correct spots. Very impressive. Now, in that instance, I think it's easier to list abiotic factors because we're all sitting in a house with lots of things that are not alive. In an ecosystem, lots of times it's easier to list biotic factors. So let's go back to our PowerPoint and look at what biotic factors can include. Biotic factors include plants, animals, fungus, so if you have mushrooms sitting somewhere, and microorganisms. The bacteria that's on the mouse or keyboard that you're using is a biotic factor. Bio means life. That's a good way to remember it's alive. So some examples of biotic factors. All of the trees in the first picture. The shelf fungus on the second picture. And the ox in the third picture. Those are all biotic factors. Abiotic factors are things that are not alive, like a rock. But it also includes things like the air, water, soil. Temperature is considered an abiotic factor. Wind, source of energy like the sun. That's an abiotic factor. A as a prefix means not or without. I just told you that bio means life, so abio would mean without life. Some examples of abiotic factors would be a fire, the sun, and the rocks. Another abiotic factor would be right now at my house, it is supposed to be 51 degrees today. That is an abiotic factor. So an example of an ecosystem is a coral reef. Okay. The next slide has a picture of a coral reef in Belize. What I would like you guys to do is I would like you to take a piece of paper, draw a ruler or a straight line down the middle using your ruler, very similar to the one that I'm showing you on the video right now. Okay, if you switch so you can see my screen, you can see. And you're making two columns. On the top of the first column, you're going to put abiotic. On top of the second column, you are going to put biotic. I would like you to take a minute, and I would like you to look at the picture on the PowerPoint, the picture of the coral reef. On your paper that you have divided into two columns, I would like you to record some biotic and some abiotic factors. Okay, so looking at the coral reef, try to get at least 3 biotic and 3 abiotic factors. All right, you're trying to get at least 3 factors. When you are done, we're just going to sit tight. So that everyone gets a chance to make their biotic list. Okay, would anybody like to share just one of their factors? Xana, go ahead.
My abiotic is coral, water, and my biotic is fish and some sponge.
Okay, does anyone else want to share just one factor? Jackson, go ahead.
Biotic factor is coral.
Very good. A biotic factor is coral. Coral is alive. Great job. Bay, your turn. Bay, did you have your hand up and want to share? I was not able to hear you, Bay. Who else had their hands up? Sarah, go ahead.
I had coral, and for my abiotic and for my biotic, I had the rock that all that stuff is growing on.
All right, very good. And Sophie, what was yours?
My biotic factor is fish and
All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay, just to kind of interrupt a little bit here. If you guys all of a sudden lose your audio or lose a picture of me, chances are it's something happening on your end if it's only happening to you. Now, if, for instance, everyone all of a sudden loses audio, then it's something on my end. But what I would like you to do is if you lose the audio, go ahead and log out and log back in or try restarting your computer because chances are it is something on your end. Unless everybody all of a sudden loses it. Then it's definitely something on my end. So, as great as computers are and as wonderful as they work, they obviously do have their issues at some point. We're just going to cross our fingers that it doesn't happen during class. So those are great lists of biotic and abiotic factors. We are going to go to our next image up here. And our next image on the whiteboard. I'm sorry, on the PowerPoint screen. What you're going to do is you are going to use that same exact piece of paper if you have room. You're just going to draw a line like that underneath it. And you are going to list 3, you are going to list 3 biotic and 3 abiotic factors about the image in. So you are coming up with 3 biotic and 3 abiotic factors. Go ahead, Sarah.
Mine's trees and flowers. For my abiotic, and for my biotic was a fence.
Okay, you actually had those switched. The biotic are the ones that are alive, so biotic factors should be trees, plants, things that are alive. And your abiotic factor would be the fence. Does anybody have any different, not ones that Sarah just gave us, but any different biotic or abiotic factors? Jackson, go ahead.
Boots and rocks and a piece of wood.
Very good. Sophie.
Abiotic is the light.
Very good. The sunlight is abiotic. Xana.
My abiotic is fence and rocks, and my biotic are trees, flowers, and roots.
All right, very good. Does anyone have anything different for either biotic or abiotic that has not been shared with us yet? Anything different? Arsiad, go ahead.
Is trees, grass, and flower. And abiotic, fence, soil.
Great job. Great job adding soil in there for the abiotic factor. Okay, Jackson, you have something different too?
Dead limbs.
All right, fantastic. Anyone else have anything different? All right, great. What we are going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and explain the homework assignment to you. Your homework assignment is in Moodle. When you log into Moodle after class, you will see all of the PowerPoints we looked at today, as well as it will say Homework Week 1, And then there's a second one that says Homework Week 1 Optional. In Homework Week 1, when you click on that assignment, it is going to ask you to find a grassland. Next week, we're going to talk about grasslands. Now, I know everyone does not live in an area where there's a grassland, or, in my case, my grassy front yard is covered with about 2.5 feet of snow. So if that's the case, I have put a website on there for you to use instead of observing the grassland around you. You can use either one, an area near you, or you can use the website. It is going to ask you to list some biotic and some abiotic factors, and then write a paragraph describing your grassland to me. In that paragraph description, I would like you to make sure that you use those biotic and abiotic factors. Sarah, I will answer your question when I'm done explaining the assignment. Then, there is another assignment that says Homework Week 1 Optional. That is where, if you would like, you can add a picture of your grassland. So if, for example, you are observing an area near your house, you can take a picture of it, upload the picture, and then next week when I'm sharing your paragraph or you're sharing your paragraph, everyone in class can see a picture of the grassland area that you were observing. Does anyone have any questions about the homework assignment? Sarah, go ahead.
Grassland.
I think you asked what a grassland is, but try to move your microphone a little bit away from your mouth because it's really muffled. A grassland, just any area that is grassy. Okay, I don't really want a forest, but like a yard, anything that's grassy, a field, a farm, and if you want to add a picture, you can. You can do it as soon as class is over, Jackson, that's fine. Your homework for this class is due by 9 a.m. next Tuesday. So you have a full week to do it. You can do it today or you can do it next Monday. It is up to you. Anyone have any other questions? Xana, go ahead.
Can the grass be in water? Like, we take a picture of the grass in water, like the big kind of grasses in water?
If you want, you can. We are going to do a watery ecosystem another week. So this week we're going to focus mainly on a grassland like a prairie or a field.
Okay.
Okay, well that's the end of class. After class, I'm going to also upload this recording to Moodle so that you can see it there as well. If you have any questions at all this week while you're doing your homework or about anything that happened in class today, certainly give me a call, send me an email, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions for you. I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you all next Tuesday at noon Eastern Time.